We've done the introduction, you know who I am. We've done an explanation of why you're all here, so why don't we get down to it? Table topics is a two-dimensional element. You have the table topics master, and you have the table topics contestant. We're all here today to learn how to be better table topic contestants. But an interesting note, that table topics, even though it's extemporaneous communication, it is not found in the communications track of Toastmasters. You won't find it anywhere in the Competent Communicator or any advanced manual. Where you will find table topics masters and table topics participation is in the leadership track. Huh? Why do you think that is? Well, my theory is good leaders need to think on their feet. Better leaders need to think on their feet better. And great leaders need to think on their feet great. The best thing that you can do is to practice thinking on your feet to get better at doing it. And that's what we're going to do here, is learn how to do that a little bit better. So before we go any further, though, let me just do a pulse check on what we're really here for. How many here came today to learn how to be better at being a table topics contestant? How many people here came to be better at improv? Huh? Improv? Where did this come from? Well, isn't that really what you're being asked to do? When you're thrown this question that you have no idea what it was, it reminds me very much of an improv class that I took. I took an improv class at Harvard. I did, at Harvard. Can you imagine that? It wasn't Harvard University. It was Harvard School, Cambridge School of Adult Education. But I got off the subway right by Harvard and went to my class. But this is what I learned in my improv class. That you've got to raise your hand to get in the pool before your brain can say, don't do that. Because every time I raised my hand to volunteer to be part of the improv, when I would get up standing next to two other people to learn what we're getting set up to do, my brain would go, what did you do that for? So I learned how to be a little quick with my hand and not so much let my brain tell me not to do it. So oftentimes in table topics, if I have the opportunity to volunteer, I look to do exactly that. But this has been my experience in terms of being able to be the best effective speaker I can be in table topics when I'm asked a question I have no idea what it's going to be. And it's simply this. You have a period of up to 45 seconds, so 45 seconds in my opinion is way too long of silence. But you have 8 to 10 seconds after the question is asked to formulate where you're going to start with your answer. In those 8 to 10 seconds, I'm searching through the files in my brain of what can I relate this to in my experience. In other words, I want to humble myself with my answer of this is what I have experienced. This is how I relate to this question, as opposed to trying to preach to someone about, well, this is what you should do if you ever get stuck in this situation. Or you should do this and this and this and this, having never done this and this and this and this. Kind of like, well, why don't you take my opinion, because I'm not using it. I bring it down to me, to the core of me, of what it is that my experience has been in answering the question. And I don't have a board right now to draw it, but I draw a daisy, so it's a circle, the circle is me, and I come out and I bring a point, and I come back to me, and I can make another point related, and it comes back to me. And I make 3 or 4 or 5 points about how I relate my life experience to what the question has been, even if it's an abstract relation. I still get the job done, and it seems to make sense to a lot of people. And it seems to make sense to me as I wrap it all up. It's easy to wrap it up when I relate it to what my real intent is. So, the key element is that in order to get into improv, you got to get in the water. You got to get wet. You got to get on the stage and do improv. So, relative to table topics, if you want to get better at table topics, you got to get in the water. So boys and girls, I hope we brought our suits and towels today, because part of this presentation, pretty much the rest of this presentation, is not going to be me presenting. It's going to be me facilitating all of us getting in the water and having a real lot of fun with table topics. Last thing I want to say before we get started. Table topics and improv is really fun. It really is, once you get started. Table topics and improv is really pretty easy. Once you allow yourself to make mistakes, it really gets easy. It's okay. And the last thing is that table topics and improv is something that I will get better at, and you will get better at, the more you do it. Mr. Toastmaster.